welcome to Faith on the Water. Your host, the Riverdog Evangelist. I will praise thee, O Lord, with my whole heart. I will show forth all thy marvelous works. I will be glad and rejoice in thee. I will sing praise to thy name, O thou most high. When mine enemies are turned back, they shall fall and perish at thy presence. For thou hast maintained my right and my cause. Thou satest in the throne, judging right. Thou hast rebuked the heathen, thou hast destroyed the wicked, thou hast put out their name forever and ever. O thou enemy, destructions are coming to a perpetual end, and thou hast destroyed cities, their memorial is perished with them. But the Lord shall endure forever. He hath prepared his throne for judgment. And he shall judge the world in righteousness. He shall minister judgment to the people in uprightness. The Lord also will be a refuge for the oppressed, a refuge in times of trouble. And they that know thy name will put their trust in thee. For thou, Lord, hast not forsaken them that seek thee. Sing praise to the Lord, which dwelleth in Zion. Declare among the people his doings. When he maketh in question for blood, he remembereth them. He forgetteth not the cry. He forgetteth not the cry of the humble. Have mercy upon me, O Lord. Consider my trouble which I suffer of them that hate me. Thou that liftest me up from the gates of death, that I may show forth all thy praise in the gates of the daughter of Zion. I will rejoice in thy salvation. The heathen are sunk down in the pit that they made. In the net which they hid is their own foot taken. The Lord is known by the judgment which he executeth. The wicked is snared in the work of his own hands. The wicked shall be turned into hell, and all the nations that forget God. Now all the nations that forget God. For the nearby shall not always be forgotten. The expectation of the poor shall not perish forever. Arise, O Lord, let not man prevail. Let the heathen be judged in thy sight. Put them in fear, O Lord, that the nations may know themselves to be but men. Psalm 10. Why standest thou afar off, O Lord? Why hidest thyself in times of trouble? Now I want to stop there and just kind of talk about that one verse. David is speaking from the heart. He is in conflict. There goes a blue heron. He's in conflict, and he's asking an honest question about the presence of God. No different than the kinds of questions that we ask when we are in times of difficulty, trouble, challenge, confusion, discouragement. God, where are you? So here David, 3,000 years ago, man after God's own heart, by the way, is asking the same question. So when you're asking those questions, don't let someone, the easiest thing for people to do, and people, when you're talking with someone and they're having difficulty, they're struggling, they're confused, I think it is not wise. It's not the worst thing you can say, but it is not a wise thing to just say, you just need to have faith. And when you say that, how you say it can come across as being dismissive of what they're dealing with in the world. Try not to be dismissive. Listen. Um, just listen. Counseling 101. Listen. And be careful about offering advice. Be careful about saying things like, well, you just don't have enough faith. Another thing that I've heard someone say when someone else was, I don't know, they didn't come to church when they should have or something like that. Someone made the comment, well, they just don't love God. And who are you to judge someone's, who are we to judge someone's heart? Because we are a fickle people. David, it appears, was so very challenged in Psalm 10. I'll read it again if I can turn the page over without it falling apart. Yeah. Why standest thou afar off, O Lord? Why hidest thou thyself in times of trouble? The wicked in his pride persecute the poor. Let them be taken in the devices that they have imagined. For the wicked boasteth of his heart's desire, and blesseth the covetous, whom the Lord abhorreth. Get straight here. That's Blackhand sandstone rock right there. I think I told you that before. The wicked, through the pride of his countenance, will not seek after God. God is not in all his thoughts. His ways are always grievous. Thy judgments are far above out of his sight. As for all his enemies, he puffeth at them. This is the wicked. He hath said in his heart, I shall not be moved, for I shall never be an adversity. His mouth is full of cursing and deceit and fraud. His tongue is mischief and vanity. He sitteth in the lurking places of the villages. In the secret places doth he murder the innocent. His eyes are privily set against the poor. He lieth in wait secretly as a lion in his den. He lieth in wait to catch the poor. He doth catch the poor when he draweth him into his net. He croucheth and humbleth himself, that the poor may fall by his strong ones. He has said in his heart, God has forgotten. He hideth his face, he will never see it. Arise, O Lord, O God, lift up thine hand, forget not the humble. Wherefore doth the wicked contemn God? He has said in his heart, thou wilt not require it. Thou hast seen it. If thou beholdest mischief and spite to requite it with thy hand, the poor committeth himself unto thee. Thou art the helper of the fatherless. Break thou the arm of the wicked and the evil man. Seek out his wickedness till thou find none. The Lord is king forever and ever. The heathen are perishing out of his hand. Lord, thou hast heard thy desire of the humble. Thou wilt prepare their heart. Thou wilt cause thine ear to hear, to judge the fatherless and the oppressed, that the man of the earth may no more oppressed. You get the idea, I think, that the Psalms are speaking in regards to the reality and the hurtfulness of life in general. The fact is, life ain't fair. Never has been, is not, never will be. We will never be able to elect fairness in regards to our political climate, which is so divisive. About the time you get a an honest. I mean, I know a lot of good people, and I've said, hey, why don't you run for office? And no, I don't want to be part. I don't want to be part of that. It's distasteful, and what happens is, uh, I want to say, I can't say all the time. Could say some of the time. Much of the time, people seek higher power for their own good and not necessarily the good of the common man, of the people. But it's always been that way. And part of dealing with the chaos of this world is to come to terms with that, accept it, and move forward. This is definitely a whole lot different than adjusting your tie before you get up and open up the Bible. The reflection is beautiful. I think you can probably see that on the camera. The reflection ahead of me is amazing. Now, the end of September, wait till you see it. Matter of fact, last week of September, I need to float probably every day. I'd like to hit here, Mohican, at least Clear Fork of the Mohican, the Kokosing, the Mad River and the Darby. They're all beautiful small streams such as this. Got the Tuscaroras. Tuscaroras is much bigger. Of course, I have the Muskingum River, and I eventually will. I hope to do a float in the next couple weeks on the Muskingum River. I just saw that eagle again fly, just the tip of the wing, flying ahead of me again. About 15 years ago, Tiffany and I were paddling along, similar to this. We were right beside each other, and we were actually talking about this here just last week. And it is a wonderful memory that her and I have together that we cherish and enjoy reflecting on it. And what an amazing one and done experience it was. And so we're floating along, and we're right about here in the gorge, and right beside each other, and not really paddling, just kind of just floating along, talking. And we both saw it at the same time. There was an eagle up ahead of us on a rock, and I think that's the rock right up there, but I can't be certain. But anyway, the eagle was on the rock, and we no sooner, and we were closer than the big rock that's up there as we come toward it. We no sooner saw it than it took off, and I don't know whether we said anything to each other or not. It flew straight at us. I mean, straight at us, gaining altitude, because when it started off, it was only 4 feet off, or 2 feet off of the water, and then it's gaining altitude as it's coming toward us. By the time that it got to us, we both watched it fly right in between us. It looked like we could reach up and just touch the claw. That wasn't the case. It's probably 10 feet high. By the time it got to us, it may have been 8 feet, but it was, I mean, we both leaned back and we're both just looking up at the eagle as it flew right over top of us, and then it was gone. And then we both, wow. That's one of those one and done things that happen in life, and you need to, if it's a good one and done, you need to cherish it, hang on to it, remember it, smile, and reflect upon it, that it was a good moment. Reminds me of a song by the Red Clay Strays. My other daughter here about, it's been months ago now. Woo, look out. Sent me a song, and it was by the Red Clay Strays. It's been easy 6 months ago. I had never heard of them. She had just discovered them, and she heard this song and sent it to me and says, "Dad, this reminds me of you." Well, I listened to it, and I thought, okay. And I've been feeding off of their music a good while. They're a southern, oh gosh, what genre would you put them in? It would be a southern rock blues, a little bit of jazz, great music. There's the rock right up there that eagle was on, up to my left, and but they have a song that they published here. It's been months ago. I listened to it this morning. It's called Moments. And the whole idea of the song is we're made by these moments. I've seen love. I've seen shame. I've done this. I've done that. And the whole idea of the song is moments. We are made by these moments. And that is so true. Things can change in a moment. If you live long enough, you've experienced that time and again. I would encourage you to cherish the moments. In regards to this being a River Ranger River review, you've seen where we put in, and it's worth your travel time. Psalm 11. In the Lord put I my trust. How say ye to my soul, flee as a bird to your mountain? For lo, the wicked bend their bow, they make ready their arrow upon the string, that they may privily shoot at the upright in heart. If the foundations be destroyed, what what can the righteous do? The Lord is in his house, holy temple. The Lord's throne is in heaven. His eyes behold his eyelids try the children of men. The Lord trieth the righteous, but the wicked and him that loveth violence, his soul hateth. I should just bounce right off of that. Upon the wicked he shall rain snares, fire and brimstone, and then horrible tempest. This shall be the portion of their cup. For the righteous Lord loveth righteousness, his countenance doth behold the upright. This was part of where we're at right now. I talked about the rocks where there might have been a lock up there. This is part of the Ohio Erie Canal system. So in the 1830s, they constructed the canal system in Ohio, Upper Pennsylvania, New York. And it's quite extensive. I think it was complete in 1836. So there was a dam on down river here. It's of course no longer there, and there's a lock, small lock that they brought stuff through. So that was in the 1830s, 40s, 50s. 1850, the choo-choo train came along, and the choo-choo train track was right up there. Steam locomotive. So from 1850 to 1950, trains up and back and forth up here. And I'll eventually walk that trail and give more history on the gorge. That'll be part of the Riverdog Ranger River Review. No work today. Doesn't look like. Looks like they're going to continue that wall. So what you're looking at is the face of the gorge. So the rock work right there is the building of the towpath. So let's go back in history a bit. The Native Americans, of course, traveled there we go. The Native Americans traveled up and down the river. When they could, they would be in a canoe, dugout canoe, 1 to 2 miles per hour, up and down. Then when the water was high, of course, they really couldn't paddle. They couldn't commute that way, so they would travel alongside the river. So there are trails up and down. Like I said, this is a Riverdog Ranger River review in regards to Blackhand Gorge. So in early 1900s, with the advent of the canal, or the early 1800s, 1830s, then they built the Ohio Erie Canal System. It was completed in 1836. So in 1836, you could go north and south, east and west by way of canal. So you could ship goods all the way from here, right here in this spot, from here, of course, up to Cleveland, or you could go from here to the Muskingum River, to the Ohio River, to the Mississippi River, to the Gulf. You could go around the world and come back here in theory. That's what was so amazing about the canal history. So 1836, the canal system was built. Now, in order to do that, they had to build a towpath. So, and that's part of the towpath. So the mules, donkeys, or horses would walk along with a long hemp rope, 100 feet long. There was no trees along. They had to get rid of all the trees along the edge. And the four-legged beast would pull your barge, which you were holding maybe tons of goods, whether it be corn or wheat. Ohio really started to produce a lot of goods back in 1800s, and then they become a state. But they had no way to get them from point A to point B, so the canal system was built. So then, because of the canal system, you could haul tons of stuff from here to there. So the towpath, the mule, horse, or donkey would pull you along, and this is the towpath right here. So in order to build that, they had to blast away the rock to create a ledge. Up on that rock was a black hand. So the black hand was up there, probably right about level, somewhere along the bottom there, because they blew out the rocks, used black powder. They didn't have gunpowder yet, and knocked the rocks down in there. There's a bunch of rocks laying down in there. And so they blasted off the black hand. And so what happened, though, was that black hand became in geological terms, Blackhand sandstone, where I have my foot on right now. Take any geology course anywhere, and in the books is a reference to Blackhand sandstone. As I have my foot on Blackhand sandstone, the term that's in the books now, has been for years, originated right here. So we have made our mark in geological history in regards to Blackhand sandstone. But it was blasted away in 1834, 35 as a result of them needing to build that wall there. Now, when the dam was still functional, right now below me, the water was up to, I've seen photographs in 1900 of water up just below the second set of sandstone blocks there. So the water was 8 to 12, 14 feet higher than what it is right now. And this was all basically a pond, a lake, miles all the way to, you could go all the way to Newark. So that was the Ohio Erie Canal. It was functional all through the 1800s until the advent of the choo-choo train. The mid-1800s, 1850, with steam locomotion, they cut a path up here, and from 1850 to 1950, the choo-choo train ran up there. And right up there, there's what's called the deep cut, and they blasted that out in late 1840s using black powder. And there's a deep cut, pretty neat. We'll go through it, and I'll give some more history on that. So 1850 to 1950, but in 1900, 1890s, the Interurban Railroad made its appearance, electric rail. And it originated pretty much right here in southeastern Ohio. So you could go by electric rail from Newark to Zanesville and places beyond, north and south. And so then the next thing they did is they built a interurban railroad bed on the other side. The canal pretty much had died off. So you could now move goods a lot faster, a lot more efficient. So the interurban could go up to 50, 60 miles an hour. The flat bottom boats 2 to 3 miles per hour. The choo-choo train 30 to 40 miles per hour, maybe 50. Electric interurban 60 to 70 miles per hour. On the other side, right down here, they actually encountered a big chunk of sandstone like this. They had to cut a tunnel through it. And it's the interurban tunnel. The only one, we think, in the world, because the interurban era didn't last very long. Because by 1910, 1915, the Model A, Henry Ford came along, mass producing cars. So that was the beginning and the ending of the interurban railroad era that didn't last very long at all, maybe 20 years. Then they closed down the interurban, and then they took up the rails, and then vehicles actually drove up and down the railroad track, and they've since long ago closed that down. So it is a path that is not accessible really to the public because part of it is on private land. So that's just a little bit of the history of what here. The only place, someone's going to have to proof text me, someone will have to check it out, but I believe it's the only place where all modes of transportation are represented within this area, from walking to paddling dugout canoe to the flat bottom boats to the choo-choo train to the electric interurban railroad, then vehicles. The only place possibly in the world where all of that was combined. And so that's just a little bit of the history of Blackhand Gorge. Now it's just recreation, but a lot of people don't know the history of the gorge. And so part of my podcast of Faith on the Water is that I want to do Riverdog Ranger River reviews on all the rivers that I'm on, and that's what this has kind of become. I'll be heading back out next week. I don't know where I'm going to go. Just depends on if things worked out well with recording this. So we're going to head on down. We'll take out down below, and we'll kind of go from there. Thank you so much for your Riverdog Evangelist out.